Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Ghost of Yotei Gamecast. I'm your host, Andrew Zink, and I'm super excited to welcome you back for this very, very special episode. Our first ever Ghost of Yotei real gameplay, real game episode. This episode is going to be an initial review of the game. The game is out. I am overwhelmed with joy to share that I'm about 15 hours into the game, and I just wanted to release this episode as an initial just overview, just some initial reactions to it. So that's what I'm going to do here. There's not going to be any spoilers in this, in this episode. I don't want to ruin anything for anyone. There may be just a few, maybe just a couple combat spoilers, just things about the mechanics of the game, but nothing story-wise, nothing character-wise. So with that, oh my god, I've had so much fun playing Ghost of Yotei so far. Just like Ghost of Tsushima, the environments and atmospheres have been incredible. The graphics are a huge step up, and let me just say that off the top right now. There's going to be a lot that I'm, comparing to Ghost of Tsushima and saying is better in Ghost of Yotei, and none of that is a slight on Ghost of Tsushima at all. Ghost of Tsushima is an incredible game. It's just, and I've talked about this with people before, right? Where it's like when you have a sequel in a video game, you can say a lot about story, but when it comes to mechanics and graphics and, the tech driving it, it's pretty hard for older video games to match up to their sequels. This is very broadly speaking. And this is just another one of those cases where the graphics are incredible and the game mechanics are also incredible. And it's a huge step up from Ghost of Tsushima. And I'll talk about what I mean by this. So starting with combat as an example, I think that the combat ends up being more challenging because you really have to use the mechanics of the melee combat more. I find you really can't just button mash your way through fights in Ghost of Yotei. You really have to pay close attention to how to use parries, blocks, and dodges, and how to and definitely switching between the weapon types that go up against whichever weapon type you're facing the best. And that's a great transition into just how cool it is that there's all these different weapons you can use. And so far, the only weapons I even have is the katana and the dual katana. I don't even have the surugama or the yari yet. And I have both bows, but I don't have any guns yet. So there's still so much for me to find. I only have one of what was called the ghost weapons before. Now they're not called it anymore. But, in Ghost of Tsushima, you had sticky bombs, you had kunai, you had smoke bombs. You had tons of stuff. Right now, I only have the blinding powder. I don't even have anything else. So I'm still there's still so much for me to find, but what is available is so fun, and it's just really, really fun. Now, one thing I'll say for my playstyle is I'm not really using the ranged weapons too much, mainly because I really wanted to challenge myself on melee combat and just make sure that I could get really good at that first. I did kind of find the ranged combat in Ghost of Tsushima to be a little bit overpowered, and I didn't want to take an easy way out on just spamming that. But I find the combat to be a huge step up. I think it's really fun, and I love the horseback riding. The horse mechanics are awesome. I thought Ghost of Tsushima's horse mechanics were excellent as well, but I think they're even more smooth in Ghost of Yotei, and I would say the horse you physically ride faster, and being able to ride through the flower streams and get a speed boost is just really cool. But again, it's awesome because it moves you through the game just even quicker, which is just much appreciated. It's hard in adult life, to just drop hours on hours and hours of time into a game. So it's really cool to have that, and part of the riding, which I guess this will lead me into the exploration aspect of the game right now. I have to say, this might be one of the most immersive games I've played in recent memory. I think part of the problem, and I've seen this is like a quote unquote complaint for this game, but I'm seeing that people are having a lot of trouble getting through the main storyline. And I am too, and I'll tell you why. There's so much cool stuff to find along the way. It is so easy to set your marker for a main quest line, and then as you're riding out, you use your spyglass, which the spyglass is sick. The spyglass is just awesome. You get on top of a hill, right? And then you pull out your spyglass, and you see a pillar of the fallen, or you see a wolf's den, or you see a campfire. You see some people around a campfire, or one person, or you see a patrol of Saito outlaws, or there's so many different things you can see. And suddenly you're like, oh, okay, I'll just ride towards that and check it out real quick. And then you get there, and it's boom, quest, and it's out in the wild, so it really feels like you're just coming upon it and discovering it. And it's so immersive and so cool. And so the next thing you know, it's okay, well, I'll just follow this quest out, further north. Let's say you have to go west, and it's well, I'll just head north and do this quest real quick. But the next thing you know, it's you're exploring more and you're finding more stuff. And even after you finish the quest, you then see a golden bird that leads you further away still. And you're just when they did the state of play gameplay reveal for this, the 20-minute long one, they talked about how player freedom and player choice was something that they were emphasizing in this one. And I have to say that is absolutely true. That is 100% true in one of the coolest ways possible. And again, this isn't a complaint to Ghost of Tsushima, but you could kind of argue there wasn't really that much player choice in Ghost of Tsushima, where it was you did Act 1, then you did Act 2 and Act 3, and you kind of got funneled from one into the next. And you don't get me wrong, it was still open world. You could still choose, generally speaking, which quests you did, but there was always kind of like a midpoint quest in each act where you had to do that one, and then after doing that midpoint one, you would end on an end of the act quest. Whereas in Ghost of Tsushima, and again, I'm not going to spoil anything here, in Ghost of Yotei, that's what I meant to say right there. In Ghost of Yotei, it is ultimate player freedom. Like, they basically just give you the 6 factions to hunt down, and then you can just do it, and they're all in different directions, and you can just pick whichever one you want to go. And like, again, not going to spoil anything, but the Teshio Ridge region in the far north of Ezo is so cool. So cool. And it's really awesome how you get there. Basically, it's kind of removed from the main map. So I won't say how or what. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But like, you hit a point where it's like, oh, are you sure you want to go here? You may not be able to come back for like, well, you can come back right away, but there's a lot to find and do the moment you get there. So really, really cool. And if you want, you can just ride straight to the game mechanism that gets you to the Teshio Ridge. So like from the starting point, you can just kind of head straight there. And I would recommend you not do that because you definitely want to level up first. But there's only a couple starting quests you have to do to like, get yourself introduced to some of the main story parts and like, some of the main characters and such. And again, if you really wanted to bypass all of it and just go straight there, you can, which is really cool. And again, part of the immersive aspect, it's like, I'd say they have a perfect balance between like the game nudging you certain directions and doing things like the golden birds, but also truly leaving it up to player choice. And that's another thing about the exploration aspect. There's so much to find. Like, I was just playing the Teshio Ridge before recording this, and like, I feel like I got like 5 side quests just in the span of like 10 minutes of just like riding around and seeing stuff. And I'd be like, oh, let's check out that cabin. Oh, what's on that ridge? Like, and then the next thing I know, I've just got a pile of quests and different places to go and stuff to do. And like, I can't tell you guys the number of times that I was like, okay, Andrew, you gotta make some story progress here. Like, okay, I set my quest marker. You gotta be strong and just head straight there. And then like, it's like I told you guys, it's like you come up on a quest and it leads you to one thing and it leads you to another thing. And then you see something totally beautiful off in the distance. And then you can trade with someone, for you can buy some cool stuff. And then you're trying on new types of gear. And the next thing you know, like an hour's gone by, like an hour and a half has gone by. And you've only you've only gotten like 20% of the way that you meant to, like towards wherever you set your marker for the main storyline. So immersive, so cool. Like, just can't believe how sucked in to this I'm getting. Yeah, I mean, moving on, I'm truly just spitballing this entire episode and just doing, again, just an initial reaction for me. On game mechanic wise, there's a lot that stands out as far as user interface that feels so good. And then I'll give you an example. And again, this isn't a spoiler thing, but there's like costume and armor loadouts, and those are sick. And I'll tell you guys what I mean. So they give you 3 loadouts where it's like you can design a whole armor set and charms and your like sword kits and everything. And then you can have a second loadout and then a third loadout, so that instead of like in Ghost of Tsushima, instead of having to like put on different sets of armor manually, you go in, you scroll all the way down, put on a set of armor. In this, if you want loadout 2 on, you just click loadout 2, and then your new hat, your new armor, your new sword, all that's just on. And it is awesome. Just the convenience of that is so incredible. It's really, really so incredible. So there's tons and tons of user mechanic things like that are just, it just makes the game like smooth. It just makes it fast. And there's things, again, like riding around and combat that just make it all flow and go really fast. So that's really awesome. I think I'll take this moment to talk about the story. And once again, no spoilers here. I'm just going to say for the story, Um, yeah, I'm really enjoying the story so far. I really like Atsu as a character, and like it's interesting. I'm not gonna say anything anybody doesn't know. Like it's a revenge quest. It's kind of a revenge story, but there's so much they do along the way that humanizes it, and I think that you really see Atsu just as a human, like a lot more. And there's a lot that really, I don't know. I think the characterization ends up being deeper and, for me, more engaging. And here's what's interesting about that, right? Like, I still think that they did a great job with Jin Sakai in Ghost of Tsushima, but I definitely felt like there were a lot of times where some of the dialogue and some of the scenes and some of the moments, there were a lot of missed opportunities, or like, there could have been more than there was, or like Jin was maybe a little bit stiff. And in this, I feel all that's very expanded. The dialogue is expanded. Atsu is a much warmer type of character to, live in her shoes and walk around in her shoes. And I'll give you an example. The hot springs come back. Let's go, hot springs. And so one of the things I love about the hot springs in Ghost of Yotei is, again, you just get a lot more dialogue. Like, if you reflect on something, you'll have Atsu saying like 5 to 6 sentences or thoughts about the subject that you choose. And they feel just more intimate and deeper. Whereas in Ghost of Tsushima, and here's an example, right? Like, there were a lot of times in the hot springs where if it was like, oh, reflect on my horse. And after, this is a spoiler. This is a Ghost of Tsushima spoiler for anyone who hasn't played it. After your horse gets killed, like if you reflect on your horse in the hot spring, it's it's just something along the lines of like, oh, I miss my horse. We went through a lot together. I hope one day we'll see each other again. That's kind of it. And don't get me wrong, like I still think it's awesome, and I love that that's in the game. But it's kind of short. It's kind of brief. Like I feel like it's a good example of a missed opportunity where it's like, I don't know. I would have liked just like more and just made it feel more sentimental and emotional, and just deeper. And you really get that in Ghost of Yotei. And I'm really excited to do the real full game review for Ghost of Yotei, because I would love to talk about more specifics, but for right now, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, still playing through it or who hasn't played it yet. So that's the point of this initial review. I think at that point, I'm probably just going to wrap it up right here. There's still, I don't know. There's still some more stuff I could say, honestly, but there's a lot more I still have to find and I have to do. So I'll just leave it at this, okay? This game's spectacular. This game is absolutely spectacular. I think it's probably better than Ghost of Tsushima in every way. I think that's pretty undebatable as far as like graphics, mechanics, user interface, combat. I mean, you name it, like Ghost of Yotei is just an improvement in every single way. I'd say the only way that might not be the case is the way that the worlds are different. The Mongolian invasion of Ghost of Tsushima is a much different type of story and, world than what is happening in Ghost of Yotei, which is, really after Japanese unification. And it's like this impending, essentially colonization of Ezo. And this is kind of like Ghost of Yotei creates a fictional story that's like the last breath of lawlessness in this area. So it's just much different. And for some people, that might not be as engaging or fun than just like Mongolians bad, defeat them. Like invaders bad. And it's just much more simple. And I have to say, I think Ghost of Tsushima's story and the way it covers the Mongolian invasion was fantastic. But Yeah, other than that, I mean, I think this is a fantastic game. It's probably one of my favorite new games that I've played in a while. So, yeah, this is my spitballed initial reaction review for Ghost of Yotei. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick 20 minutes or so on this. I am playing through the game as fast as I can, and I'll have a full review up as soon as possible. So, hey, if you guys have any thoughts, you know what to do. Drop them in the comments. Reach out on any of our social media channels. All the links are in the show notes. Hope you guys are enjoying Ghost of Yotei. If you're playing it, if you're not, hang tight. I'm sure it'll come out on PC, soon enough, and it'll go on sale, and it's worth it. It's worth the wait. So, all right. Thanks for listening, y'all, and I'll talk to you soon.